Okay, good afternoon. It is Wednesday, October 27th, 2021, and today we were looking at a range day. Not a whole lot of good movement. This was, for a while, this range was really holding prices, and I, I didn't like how it was moving. I don't think you should really take any entries after this one. Even this one is a little questionable. But yeah, the range day, if you were patient, you could have gotten in on this move. And if you just put your stop one tick above each of these bars, I think you would have had like a 10 or 11 point runner. So there were definitely some good trades in here, but not a whole lot. And this morning, we'll take a look at these. This morning, you really had to be patient because there was some good movement, but there weren't any entries. And actually, I marked this as aggressive because this is a failed second entry, but it goes higher, and it was just, I don't know, it was tough. I didn't want to jump in on that. I almost did, but I held off. Look, it's far from any potential trend line. So just not a whole lot of entries this morning. So we'll take a look again. Looks like this is how I had the trend channel drawn when I was watching too. But yeah, there's no opportunity. If you were watching this live, it looked like the failure occurred right here. Prices were really trying to go below the EMA, and they failed, and they kind of shot up after that. So maybe on a different chart, that's probably where the failed second entry occurred. But technically, we go short here, so the next move higher is the failure on our chart, and that's just too far from the EMA. And this just becomes too congested, and then right at the open, we have this nice sell-off, but there's just no way to enter this. And we break and make a new low, and it looked like this was a potential channel here. You can see it works off the highs, and we get a bounce here at the midline, but I think that really just wasn't much help towards the end. So anyway, we have this new low, and just nothing, no opportunity to enter this, unfortunately. Maybe you would take this because this is a first failed second entry right here, but I just don't like the setup. This closes beneath the EMA, but I mean, maybe we'll see if Mac marks that. We got all these dojis up here. We just came to the highs. You get an overshoot that leads to a break. Not too sure about that one. And look at all that. We get all this congestion. Prices do move up to these overnight highs, and they start turning down. So we get this first entry, and this is actually a failure, but you have this short-term trend, and you have a move to a new low. So you don't want to, you're not expecting, we don't have a trend channel basically, and we don't know what prices are doing. So I don't think you can go short there. It's far from the EMA as well. But if you're patient, you get a first entry, second entry, and that looks like it's off the trend line to me, and that gets you a nice move. We bounce right here, and now it's starting to look congestive. And originally I had my congestion drawn like, I think it was like this, from these lows or from these highs, and then eventually these highs. So eventually I moved it to like up here. But let me show you my thought process behind these. So first, actually this is a failed second entry long, it looks like. This is actually first, second, third, fourth. So technically this is not a failure, but it kind of looks like it. Like this is a new high, and we get a first failed second entry. I don't think you can take that though. But you would have eventually gotten scalp out of it. But I looked at this first, second entry short. I like that just to get back to the lows. We still haven't made a new low since the break. Oh, you could count this as the break though, but let's see, is my trend channel. This is actually more accurate. This is the trend channel. So we haven't gotten a break yet. You get a break here, and we haven't made a new low yet. So the first, second entry, really nice bearish bar. I didn't take this because I was actually waiting for a failed second entry long. And I think that's probably because I had my trend channel drawn incorrectly. So, I don't know why I was trying to go long. I should have been waiting. At that point, we don't know that this support is going to hold, so I should have been waiting until we got down to the overnight lows. So, not too sure why I was trying to go long there. But anyway, we get all these. This is way too congestive. I shouldn't be putting a long right there, I don't think. But you do get a first, second entry short again at the high of the range, so I do like that. We get a breakout with trend, but that bounces. You might enter on this high or low. So let me put an arrow right there. I wouldn't blame you for that entry. And you get a failure right here, but this is just so congestive. You shouldn't be entering on failures. We come up here to the top of the range, form some congestion, and then you get this lower high. So this is going right into the midline though, so it's just aggressive. This is just super congestive, and you should probably just stay out of it, really. And this is just a lower high. This isn't anything, so I don't know why I marked that. Just looks like a lower high in congestion. I don't think you should enter any of this. You'll see I entered in it, and yeah, I paid for it. So anyway, we bounce down here. You get a first entry, failed second entry, long. It never triggers, and this is a really nice bearish bar at the highs. It's aggressive though because it looks like an inside bar, but I mean, it's also got resistance at the opening price, so you might go short there. And here we bounce off the midline. You get a first, failed second entry short. Again, this is in congestion, so you shouldn't be taking that, but I'm sure with that super bullish bar, I'm sure some advanced chart readers watching in real time are expecting it. I don't know, maybe to just test the opening price at that point. That turns out to be a pretty good move. And then here, once we started going higher, I was just expecting prices to test the overnight highs. So these are matching highs, but it looks like a second entry long. So I was looking at that. And then let me try and show this in a context. So all these moves, all these entries that I have marked here, this is probably the least aggressive entry, but all these are pretty aggressive. I actually did kind of like that one though because it's a lower high. But anyway, we get a break of this channel, we get a move to a new high, and you get this big leg down, first entry, failed second entry long, and you can enter that, and you can get in on this huge move down. That's a 10-point move. So hats off to you if you got that. And then here, I only marked this as a first, second entry with a really nice signal bar. I only marked that as aggressive because it's a range day. But, oh, you know what? That's going to be marked. I'm changing that to red because that's off the trend line. So, yeah, you get the second entry short, very good signal bar. And then here you get a first, failed second entry long, but that's above the EMA, so I wouldn't take that. Maybe take that lower high though. So that's what I saw for today. Let's check out these bad decisions I made. I think when prices are in the overnight highs and lows, and especially like in a situation like this, where we're clearly in a range within the overnight highs and lows, I think I want to just scalp out. This is an instance where I understand why I didn't scalp out, because we're coming off the highs of the range. So I think that makes sense, but these I should have just scalped out, and then I could have walked away with some money today. But instead, we were in this channel and I misread it. I didn't see that this was a higher low right here. So first the failure happens right here. And I was looking at this as the failure. And so I entered on a limit order and I hit my targets, but this was just poor behavior. Let's see. Here I entered on this lower high. I'm not too upset about that. Clearly prices couldn't go higher above the opening price. So this lower high closes beneath the EMA. I'm not too upset about that. Here I went short. First entry, second entry. I don't know what I was doing here. Just poor behavior, probably re-entering after a scalper's profit was already taken. And then here, this is just a good signal bar that closes beneath the EMA at the top of the range. But it's really, I prefer taking signal bars that are above the range to go back in. So this is too aggressive, not a good idea. And I was playing these trend channels within this range, so that's just not a good idea. I entered long here and got stopped out, 64. I guess I entered long above this bar. Yeah, I did. And it's just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? That's a first entry. So poor behavior again, and I went short here off of the trend channel when we should be playing the range. So just eagerness and poor behavior. I went short here, got trapped, and let's look at this. This is look at how congestive it is, and it's bouncing off the midline of my range. So I think that should be a sign to stay out. Look, it's congestion within the overnight highs and lows. So that's just not a good idea. And it closes above the EMA as well. So poor behavior. And this trade, I like this trade. This is a great trade, obviously, and it's a failure. It's below the EMA. We just had a break of this channel, move to a new high, and now we're expecting to go to the lows. First entry failed, second entry, no problem with that. Only problem is I wish I just moved my stop one tick above each bar, because then you get a 10-point move, whereas I only got a 6-point move. So that's what I saw for today. I hope everyone had a great day, and I will be back tomorrow.